The doctor's eyes moved from my mother to me, then back again. His hand trembled slightly as he held the consent forms. "I can only save one of you in time," he said. "The operating rooms are both ready, but I'm the only surgeon qualified for both procedures. You have 60 seconds to decide." My mother didn't hesitate. She didn't even look at me. "Save my son," she said. "Not her." The problem? I'm not her son. I'm her daughter. And the son she was talking about? He was in the waiting room, perfectly healthy, watching sports on his phone. My name is Victoria Grace. I'm 29 years old, and until 3 hours ago, I thought I knew what betrayal felt like. I thought 6 years of paying my mother's medical bills, her rent, her groceries, her life. I thought that counted as love. I thought the exhaustion, the second job, the canceled dates, the empty savings account, I thought it all meant something. I was wrong. It started on a Tuesday. Isn't that how these things always start? Some random, meaningless day that becomes the before and after line of your entire life? I was at work. My real job? Not the weekend gig at the grocery store, when my phone rang. Mom's name flashed on the screen. I almost didn't answer. She'd called 4 times that week already, each time needing money for something new. But I answered. I always answered. "Victoria." Her voice was strained. "Something's wrong. Really wrong." "What kind of wrong?" "My chest. I can't, I can't breathe right. It hurts." I was out the door in 30 seconds. By the time I got to her apartment, she was gray. Actually gray, like someone had drained the color from her skin. I called 911, and we were at Mercy General within 20 minutes. The ER doctor was young, efficient, clinical. "We need to run tests," he said. "Her symptoms suggest a serious cardiac issue, possibly an aortic dissection." "What does that mean?" "It means," he said carefully, "that we need to move fast." They admitted her immediately. I called my brother Marcus 3 times. He didn't answer. Typical. The tests came back within 2 hours. The cardiologist, Dr. Raymond Hutchins, I'll never forget his name, pulled me into a private consultation room, the kind with tissue boxes strategically placed on every surface. "Your mother has a type A aortic dissection," he said. "It's life-threatening. We need to operate within the next few hours or she won't survive the night." My hands went numb. "Okay, do it. Whatever she needs." "There's something else." He paused, and I could see him calculating how to say what came next. "You're listed as her emergency contact. We pulled your medical records as standard protocol for family surgical history. Victoria, you have a ruptured appendix. Probably happened sometime in the last 12 hours. You're septic. You need emergency surgery immediately." I laughed. Actually laughed. "I feel fine." "That's the adrenaline and the early stage shock. You have maybe 6 to 8 hours before this becomes critical. We need to operate on you too. Then do mom first." "I can wait." He shook his head. "I'm the only cardiothoracic surgeon on staff tonight qualified for your mother's procedure, and I'm also the only general surgeon available who can handle your case. We're short-staffed because of the flu outbreak. If I do your mother's surgery first, it's 7 to 9 hours in the OR. You won't make it that long." The room tilted. "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying I need to know which surgery to perform first, yours or your mother's. There has to be another way." "There isn't. Not tonight. Not at this hospital. We could transfer one of you, but the nearest facility with available surgeons is 45 minutes away. Neither of you has that kind of time." I stood there, trying to process the impossible math of it all. 6 years. 6 years of working myself to exhaustion to keep her alive. 6 years of making sure her medications were paid for, her rent was current, her life was comfortable. And now this moment where I had to choose between her life and mine. "Let me talk to her," I said finally. Dr. Hutchins hesitated. "Victoria, you need to understand, I need to talk to my mother." He took me to her room. She was hooked up to monitors, oxygen tube in her nose, IV in her arm. She looked small in that hospital bed. vulnerable. When she saw me, she tried to smile. Hey, baby girl. I pulled a chair close to her bed. Mom, there's a problem. I explained everything. The surgeon, the timing, the impossible choice. I watched her face as I talked, looking for some sign of the panic I felt, the desperate love that would make this decision unbearable for both of us. She listened quietly. When I finished, she was silent for a long moment. Where's Marcus? She asked. I called him. He's not answering. Keep trying. He needs to be here. Mom, did you hear what I said? The doctor needs to know. I heard you. She reached for my hand. Her fingers were cold. You're going to be fine, Victoria. You're young. You're strong. But I need Marcus here. He's my son. Something in my chest cracked. Not physical. Worse than physical. Mom, I'm the one who's been here. Every doctor's appointment, every prescription, every bill. I'm the one who... And I'm grateful, sweetie. I really am. But Marcus is my boy. He needs me. Marcus, who hadn't visited in 8 months, who didn't return my calls about her medication costs, who'd told me last Christmas that I was enabling her by paying for everything. Marcus is fine, I said carefully. Marcus is healthy. He's not here. I am. And Mom, I'm dying too. Do you understand that? Don't be dramatic. You said you feel fine. That's not how this works. The doctor said. Doctors always exaggerate. They want to scare you into procedures you don't need. Remember when they said I needed that knee surgery? I was fine without it. Mom, this is different. This is life and death. She squeezed my hand. Exactly. Which is why we need to be smart. I'm older. I'm sicker. If something happens to me, Marcus will fall apart. He needs his mother. What about me? You? She smiled. That same indulgent smile she'd given me my entire life when I asked for too much. Victoria, you've always been a survivor. You'll figure it out. You always do. I pulled my hand away. You want me to tell the doctor to save you first. I'm not asking you to sacrifice yourself, honey. I'm just saying the choice is obvious. I'm in critical condition right now. You have time. Let them fix me, and then they can get to you. Simple. The doctor said, I don't have that much time. Then we'll find another doctor. Transfer you to another hospital. Something. But Victoria, I cannot die right now. Marcus needs me. Your father, God rest his soul, would never forgive me if I didn't make sure Marcus was taken care of. Dad's been dead for 12 years, and I've honored his wishes every day since. Marcus was his pride and joy, his legacy. I promised I'd always put Marcus first, and I have. You understand that, don't you? It's not about loving you less, it's about responsibility. Marcus he's special. He needs more support. Special. Marcus was 32 years old, worked in middle management at a software company, had no health issues, no financial problems, no crisis of any kind. But he was special. I stood up. The room swayed slightly. Was that the appendix? Or was that just my entire world tilting off its axis? I'll go talk to the doctor, I said. Thank you, baby. I knew you'd understand. Oh, and keep trying, Marcus. Tell him it's urgent. He'll come if he knows I really need him. I walked out of her room. Dr. Hutchins was waiting in the hallway, along with a nurse who looked at me with something like pity. What did she say? He asked. She wants you to do her surgery first. His jaw tightened. And what do you want? What did I want? I wanted a mother who didn't measure her children's worth by their gender. I wanted 6 years of sacrifice to mean something. I wanted to not be dying in a hospital hallway while being told I was less important than my brother's hypothetical emotional needs. How long do I have if you operate on her first? I asked. Realistically? Her surgery is 7 to 9 hours. Best case scenario. You'd be starting your operation around 4 or 5 in the morning. That's 10 to 11 hours from now. Victoria, I don't think you make it that long. You said 6 to 8 hours before it becomes critical. That's before it becomes unsurvivable. You're already critical. Every hour that passes, your chances drop exponentially. By hour 6, you're at 50-50 odds. By hour 9, it's maybe 20%. I nodded slowly. And if you do mine first? Your surgery is 2 to 3 hours. She'd be in the OR by midnight at the latest. With her condition, that's cutting it close, but it's doable. Her odds would be about 60-40. So I have worse odds either way. Yes. I looked back at my mother's room. I could see her through the small window in the door, adjusting her pillows, checking her phone. Probably still trying to call Marcus. 6 years. 6 years of putting her first. And it still wasn't enough. Do her surgery, I said. Dr. Hutchins blinked. What? You heard me. Operate on my mother first. Victoria, I need you to understand what you're saying. You're choosing. I understand exactly what I'm choosing. My mother has made it very clear what she wants. Who am I to argue with that? The nurse reached out. Honey, you need to think about this. Your life is apparently worth less than my brother's emotional comfort. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I turned back to Dr. Hutchins. Do her surgery. But I want something in return. I'm not sure this is the time for negotiations. I want you to tell her, I said, when she wakes up, before you do my surgery, if I'm still alive, I want you to tell her that I'm the one who chose to wait. I want her to know that I did this, that I gave her what she wanted. Why? Because I need her to know. I need her to understand what this cost. He studied my face for a long moment. All right, I'll tell her. Thank you. They took my mother to pre-op 20 minutes later. I sat in the surgical waiting room, alone, still trying to reach Marcus. He finally answered on the 7th call. What? He snapped. I'm busy. Mom's in surgery. It's serious. How serious? She might not make it. A pause. Well, you're there, right? You'll handle it. Marcus, she asked for you. She wanted you here. I can't just drop everything, Victoria. I have a life. You're the one who insists on being super daughter. This is your thing, not mine. My thing? Yeah, the whole martyr routine. It's exhausting. Mom knows I care. I don't have to perform it like you do. He hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, feeling something inside me crystallize into a new shape. Not anger, not even hurt. Something colder, something final. I walked to the hospital billing office. It was closed, but I found a night administrator in the business office down the hall. I need to make a change to my mother's account, I said. The administrator, a tired-looking woman in her 50s, pulled up the file. You're listed as the financial guarantor. What changes? Remove me. I'm sorry? Remove me as the financial guarantor. I'm no longer responsible for her medical bills. Ma'am, we have you on file as... I know what you have on file. I want it changed. Now. Tonight. She looked uncomfortable. This is highly irregular. Usually these changes require... I'm competent. I'm making this decision with full understanding of the consequences. Remove me from her account. Add my brother instead. Marcus. I gave her his information, all of it. His address, his phone number, his employer. He'll need to sign, then call him, wake him up. I don't care. But as of right now, I'm done. Something in my voice must have convinced her. She made the changes, printed out confirmation. I signed where she indicated, each signature feeling like cutting a cord. Is there anything else? She asked carefully. Yes, my insurance. I need to verify my coverage for my surgery. We spent the next hour going through my insurance details. My coverage was intact. My deductible was already met from some earlier procedures. I'd be fine. Mom's insurance, on the other hand. When was her last premium payment? The administrator asked, frowning at her screen. I paid it 3 months ago. It should be current. I'm showing her policy as inactive. It looks like... Oh, she canceled it 6 weeks ago. The room went very quiet. That's not possible, I said. I've been paying her premiums for years. She wouldn't cancel it. According to this, she called the insurance company directly and terminated her coverage. Said she didn't need it anymore. Why would she do that? The administrator shrugged. People have different reasons. Maybe she qualified for Medicare? Though at her age, that seems unlikely unless she's on disability. She's not on disability. Then I don't know. But ma'am, this is a problem. Her surgery tonight is going to cost approximately $180,000. Without insurance, she's responsible for the full amount. $180,000. I started laughing. I couldn't help it. The administrator looked alarmed. Ma'am, are you all right? She canceled her insurance, I said. She actually canceled it. And then chose her own surgery over mine, knowing I'd have to pay for it. Knowing I've paid for everything for 6 years. I don't understand. Neither do I. But it doesn't matter now, does it? I'm not financially responsible anymore. You said so yourself. I signed the papers. Yes. But nothing. When my mother wakes up, she'll have a bill. And Marcus will have a choice. Just like she gave me a choice. I walked back to the waiting room. My abdomen was starting to hurt now. Really hurt. The adrenaline was wearing off, and the reality of my ruptured appendix was setting in. I was sweating, nauseous, dizzy. A nurse found me doubled over in a chair. We need to prep you for surgery, she said. Dr. Hutchins just sent word. Your mother's surgery is going faster than expected. He thinks he can get to you by 2 a.m. instead of 4. Can you hold on that long? Do I have a choice? No, she said gently. Not really. They took me to a pre-op room, started an IV, gave me fluids, antibiotics, something for the pain. I drifted in a haze, watching the clock. 1 a.m., 1:30, 1:45. Dr. Hutchins appeared at 2:15. He looked exhausted. Your mother made it through surgery, he said. She's in recovery. Stable. Great. We need to take you in now. Did you tell her? Tell her what? That I chose to wait. That I gave her what she wanted. She's not awake yet. She won't be for hours. Then tell her when she wakes up. You promised. Victoria? You promised. He nodded. I'll tell her. They wheeled me into the OR. The lights were bright, clinical, cold. Someone put a mask over my face. Count backwards from 10, a voice said. I made it to 7. 3 hours later, I woke up in recovery. Everything hurt, but it was a distant hurt, muted by drugs. A nurse was checking my vitals. How long? I managed to ask. You've been out for about 3 hours. Surgery went well. Dr. Hutchins will be by soon to explain everything. My mother? She's awake, in her room. Would you like me to? No. The nurse looked surprised but didn't push. Dr. Hutchins came by an hour later. He looked more exhausted than before, if that was possible. You're going to be fine, he said. We got the appendix out, cleaned up the infection. You'll need to stay for a few days for IV antibiotics, but you should make a full recovery. And my mom? Also recovering well. Her surgery was successful. She should make a full recovery too. Did you tell her? He hesitated. I did. What did she say? She asked where you were. I told her you were in surgery. She asked if you were okay. I said you would be, but that it was close, that you'd given up hours you didn't have to spare to save her life. And? She cried. Said she didn't understand. Said she thought you'd be fine. That the doctors were exaggerating your condition. Of course she did. Victoria, there's something else. While you were in surgery, the billing department called your mother's room. They needed to discuss her account. She called for you? When they told her you were unavailable, they explained the situation. The insurance cancellation. The cost. The fact that you'd removed yourself as the financial guarantor. I felt nothing. That was the strangest part. I should have felt something. Vindication, guilt, satisfaction, regret. But there was just emptiness. What did she say? She became hysterical, demanded to speak to the hospital administrator, claimed there was some mistake, that you wouldn't do that to her. They showed her the paperwork, your signatures, the timeline, everything. And then? She called your brother. I wasn't there, but the nurse said she was screaming at him. Something about how he needed to fix this, Needed to take care of it. He apparently hung up on her. Good old Marcus. Consistent as always. Is she asking to see me? Yes. She's been asking for the past hour. She wants to talk to you. Tell her I'm sleeping. Victoria. Tell her I'm sleeping and I don't want to be disturbed. Tell her I need rest to recover from the surgery I nearly died waiting for. He opened his mouth, then closed it. All right. 4 days later. They discharged me before my mother. Her recovery was more complicated, required more monitoring. I left the hospital without seeing her. She'd sent messages through nurses, through my doctors, even tried to get Marcus to call me. I ignored all of it. I went home to my apartment, the small, shabby apartment I'd lived in for 6 years because every extra dollar went to her. I slept, I ate, I healed. The hospital sent me my bill. After insurance, I owed $800. Manageable. Painful, but manageable. I didn't know what Mom's bill looked like. I didn't ask. I didn't care. Marcus called 2 weeks later. You need to fix this, he said without preamble. Fix what? This thing with Mom's hospital bill. She can't afford it. She's freaking out. They're threatening to send her to collections. That sounds like her problem. Victoria, come on, you can't seriously be this petty. Petty? That's what you're calling this. What else would you call it? You're punishing her because she made a hard choice in an impossible situation. She chose your emotional comfort over my life. That's not... Look. She was scared, okay? She wasn't thinking clearly. You can't hold that against her forever. Watch me. The hospital says you changed her financial guarantor. You put my name on her account. That's right. Without asking me? You're her son. Her special boy. The one she needs to protect at all costs. Congratulations, you're finally useful. I'm not paying this bill. Then don't. But neither am I. Not anymore. Not ever again. She doesn't have that kind of money. I know. Victoria. She's our mother. She's your mother. She made that very clear. I'm just the survivor, remember? The one who always figures it out. Well, I've figured it out. I'm out. You're being selfish. I laughed so hard I had to sit down. Selfish. 6 years, Marcus. 6 years of paying her bills, her rent, her medication, her life. 6 years of working 2 jobs. 6 years of having no savings, no vacations, no life of my own. And the one time I needed something from her, the one time I needed her to choose me, she didn't even hesitate before choosing you. So yeah, maybe I am being selfish. Maybe I've earned it. She could lose everything. They could garnish her Social Security, ruin her credit. Then maybe she shouldn't have canceled her insurance to pocket the premium money I was sending her. Silence. What? Oh, you didn't know? She canceled her coverage 6 weeks before her surgery, took the premium money and spent it. On what, I have no idea. Maybe something special for her special son. I didn't know about that. Of course you didn't. You never know anything. You never ask. You just exist. Secure in the knowledge that someone else, that I, will always clean up the mess. Well, not anymore. This is your mess now. You figure it out. I hung up. He called back 3 times. I didn't answer. Mom called from a neighbor's phone a week later. I made the mistake of answering. Victoria, baby, please. We need to talk. There's nothing to talk about. There's everything to talk about. What you did. Leaving me with this bill. Removing yourself from my account. Honey, I don't understand. I thought you loved me. I thought you loved me too. I do love you. You love me less than Marcus. You love me less than the idea of Marcus. You love me enough to take my money, my time, my sacrifice, but not enough to choose my life over your convenience. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Mom? Explain it to me. Explain how watching me die was an acceptable option as long as you got fixed first. The doctor said you'd be fine. The doctor said I had a 20% chance of survival if I waited for you. 20%. And you were fine with those odds because you didn't want to upset Marcus by dying. You're twisting everything. Am I? Because I remember it pretty clearly. I remember you saying I was a survivor, that I'd figure it out. I remember you saying Marcus needed you more. I remember you asking me to find another hospital, another surgeon, any solution that didn't involve you making a sacrifice for me. She was crying now. I was scared. I wasn't thinking straight. You can't. Victoria, you can't throw away our whole relationship over one moment. It wasn't one moment. It was 6 years of moments. 6 years of proof that I was never your priority. That conversation in the hospital room was just the first time you said it out loud. Please, I'm sorry. I'll do better. I'll make it up to you. With what? You don't have anything. You canceled your insurance and spent the money. You have a $180,000 hospital bill. You have no savings, no assets, nothing. What exactly are you going to make it up to me with? Then help me. Please, Victoria, I need you. You needed me in that hospital room. You needed me to matter as much as Marcus. You needed me to be worth saving. But I wasn't. So now I don't need you either. Don't say that. It's already said. It's already done. You made your choice. Now live with it. I hung up. Blocked her number. Blocked Marcus's number. Blocked everyone who might try to guilt me into going back. 2 months later, I got a letter from a collections agency. They were pursuing my mother for the hospital debt. The letter was informative. It told me she'd tried to declare bankruptcy but was being denied because she'd made fraudulent statements about her assets. Turned out she'd had a savings account I didn't know about. $23,000. Money she'd been hoarding while I paid her bills. The money wasn't enough to cover the hospital debt, but it was enough to disqualify her from bankruptcy protection. The collections agency was offering a settlement, $60,000, due in 30 days, or they'd pursue full legal action. She didn't have $60,000. Neither did Marcus, apparently, because he wasn't returning her calls either. I threw the letter away. My lease was up at the end of the month. I'd found a new apartment. Bigger, brighter, in a better neighborhood. I could afford it now. Funny how that worked. Remove one financial drain from your life, and suddenly you have money for things like housing and food and a future. I packed up my old life, donated most of it, started fresh. On my last day in the old apartment, my phone rang from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Victoria? It was a woman's voice. Familiar, but not. This is Jean Hutchins, Dr. Hutchins' wife. We met briefly at the hospital. I remembered her. She'd brought her husband dinner during my mother's surgery. What can I do for you, Mrs. Hutchins? Please, call me Jean. I'm calling because Raymond, Dr. Hutchins, wanted me to reach out. He's been thinking about your case, about what happened. He wanted you to know something. What? He said to tell you that you made the right choice. Not the choice in the hospital. He said that was impossible, that there was no right choice there. But the choice after, the choice to save yourself. He wanted you to know that he sees patients like your mother all the time, people who take and take until there's nothing left. And he sees people like you, who give until they break. He said to tell you that you're the bravest patient he's ever treated. My throat closed up. I don't feel brave. He said you'd say that. He also said that the bravest thing a person can do is choose themselves when everyone else has trained them not to. He wanted you to hear that from someone who understands. I couldn't speak. There's something else, Jean continued. Your mother called the hospital last week. She spoke to the patient advocate, trying to claim that Dr. Hutchins had coerced you into changing her financial information while you were under duress. She's trying to get the changes reversed. Of course she is. The hospital reviewed the case. They have the timestamps from the billing office. You made those changes before your surgery, while you were fully conscious and competent. The patient advocate shut down her claim, but Raymond thought you should know she tried. Thank you for telling me. One more thing. The hospital has a fund for patients experiencing financial hardship. It's funded by donations from people who want to help others in crisis. Dr. Hutchins submitted your name. It's not a lot, but they approved a grant of $5,000 to help with your recovery costs. I started crying. I couldn't help it. You don't have to accept it, Jean said gently. But Raymond wanted you to know that sometimes, when your family doesn't show up for you, the world will. Not always. Not enough. But sometimes. Please thank him for me. I will. And Victoria, take care of yourself. You deserve it. She hung up. I sat in my empty apartment, surrounded by boxes, crying into my hands. Not from sadness, from something else. Something like freedom. I haven't spoken to my mother in 8 months. She sends letters sometimes, through people I can't block. Each one is a variation of the same theme. She's sorry. She was scared. She didn't mean it. Can't I forgive her? Doesn't family mean anything? How can I be so cruel? I don't read them anymore. I just throw them away. Marcus stopped trying to contact me after the 3rd month. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he's helping Mom with her bills now. Not all of them. Not like I did. But some. Enough to keep her afloat. Barely. She had to sell the savings account money to cover part of the settlement. She's on a payment plan for the rest. It'll take her years to pay it off. Years of sacrifice and struggle and doing without. I should feel bad about that. I should feel guilty. I don't. I feel free. I have my own apartment now. My own life. I took a vacation last month. My first in 6 years. I spent a week on a beach, reading books, drinking expensive coffee, doing absolutely nothing productive. It was perfect. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder if I'm a bad person, if I'm cruel for cutting her off so completely, if I should have handled it differently. But then I remember that hospital room. I remember her face when she said Marcus needed her more. I remember the 6 years before that, when every call, every visit, every interaction made it clear that I was the backup child, the useful one, the one who'd always be there, so she didn't have to try very hard to keep me. And I remember that I almost died. I almost died because she decided my life was worth less than her comfort. That's not love. That's not family. That's just convenience. So no, I don't feel guilty anymore. I feel alive. And for the first time in 6 years, that's enough.